What's up, everybody? Long time no see. Missed y'all. Hopefully, y'all missed me. Overall, successful night in Detroit for the WWE SummerSlam 2023. I enjoyed it for the most part. I think I understand what most people didn't like. Because there was a few things I know it absolutely sucked and didn't work as well, which I think most of us, will agree with. And there's a lot of thoughts coming out of it. Things that happened, things that could happen, all of that. Going forward, like I said, though, there are things done well, dumb finishes, giant waste of time in the middle, which I still don't get. Uh, didn't make a lot of sense. Kind of like all the stuff I've been doing the last couple months during this hiatus, health wise, VA wise, all that. A bunch of waste of time. And a lot of stuff that didn't make sense, but there's some good stuff along the way. And I thought they opened up the show properly. I thought Logan Paul and Ricochet was the right move just to get the crowd going. Energize everybody just because of their ability. No matter what you think about Logan Paul, he irritates the hell out of me. His brother, like look how successful he is. Yeah, but he's fighting non-boxers in boxing matches. Like guys that have spent their whole life just worried about MMA and different things. And kickboxing and now getting him into that, it's a whole different thing. If he fights him in their own thing, I think he'd get his head taken off. But talked about that $10 million MMA fight, and Nate Diaz can do anything. He'll take his head off. But moral of the story, the kid can wrestle no matter how you feel about him. And Prime is disgusting, by the way. Sorry, kid in the front row that he had all those, kept handing them to him and to Logan himself. Prime sucks. That'd be the drink, not Amazon. That stuff was terrible, but it was what they needed to get everything off to a good start. There's a few things, the landing with Ricochet's knees on that Spanish fly from the apron to the floor. When they went down, I was worried, but glad to see he popped, right back up again. He's so much smaller than him. They just, hitting at different times and all that, could have thrown that off, but it worked out. They told a good story. They did some things that myself and Dan personally, haven't seen before, haven't seen in a very long time, which is really good. It's just they got to the finish and there's a bunch of stuff that just doesn't make a lick of damn sense to me. There's some things that, doing it, but, there's some big questions coming out of it, like him pulling out the brass, getting the brass knuckles, to win the match. It's just because of the feud in the match. And it's just, obviously, guessing this means they have to drag it out longer, which I think they're going to, make, good matches because of what they can do. But, that's the only thing, the outcome that makes sense to this is him cheating to get that win with how much they brought Samantha into it. They're doing all that, and winning with the brass knuckles means we're probably going to have to see it again just because they made it personal and did all of that. And I'm not complaining about Ricochet finally getting something to sink his teeth into that, means something, because no matter what Logan Paul, he's up there, influence, followers, all of that. So it's a big spot to technically have him in. But, it's the only, I don't get what the point of having him, need the knucks to get it. And it also protects Ricochet. So, because it wasn't clean, which, in the moral of the story, get Logan a win because he cheated to get him a win over a wrestler. I do fully get all that. So I'm not saying anything of the sort before anyone tries to go there. I just want to know what they're going to do with it next going forward, because, you just can't let it with the way they've been end there. And I just don't know where they would go, from this. Maybe they have something planned for Ricochet going forward. In the long run, that'd be great. Is since he got called up, it's been just pointless and a waste of time. Thanks to Vince. I believe he got called up before WrestleMania 1 year. Aleister Black, now Malachi Black, whatever you want to call him. He was Aleister at that point, and they were a tag team randomly for a good bit there going into Mania. They kept losing tag title matches, and then they were split. And what the hell really has he done? He hasn't been used properly, I don't think. And I think Triple H knows how to use him properly. It's just, will they use him properly? It's a crazy thing about it. So I'm curious about that, just because why else? How personal it got, and then the knucks, it has to continue. But if it doesn't, what were they protecting him for by having him not lose clean? It's just one of those, conundrums, I guess is the right word. But I enjoyed it regardless, and I thought it was a perfect way to start the night. Cody and Brock. We all knew Cody was going to win into it. He had to win, the feud and the trilogy of matches. We all knew it, because there's no point in doing it if he was going to end up losing 2 of the 3 to Brock. So, that was, expected. They put together a good story. They told a good one. in the ring. And if, like they said at the press conference, Triple H, did and all that, that it was unplanned and Brock just showed all that sportsmanship at the end all on his own. That's really cool. Again, I like Brock on this last round. Everyone needs to appreciate Brock as long as we have him because he is a freak. And he's putting a lot of people over anymore. He's putting more into it than we saw him like ever when he was champion there when he first came back. There's a lot more to it, and I fully enjoy that. And I hope everyone, appreciates Brock for as long as we have him. Because, we're not going to have him forever. And I will say that I don't know about y'all, but I wish I had a mute button available really quick to mute out Michael Cole during that because the commentary was god awful and hard to listen to for a lot of that because it was just Cole on repeat, the same thing over and over again. We get it. Stay down. We don't have to hear you screaming it for 5 straight minutes on commentary. It's just that sucked. Thankfully, at some point, someone had to have said something. I was tweeting out on Twitter the X handle. Sorry, for wrestling ski. Like I know it wasn't me, but hopefully I'm guessing because he stopped suddenly. Like someone told him, "Please God, stop!" What? Because you're killing us. Because it absolutely sucked. But that was the downside of that match. And if Michael Cole being Michael Cole is the downside, I'm okay with it. Works for me. It was the proper call. Now to see where he goes, the title picture and all that going forward. LA Knight winning the SummerSlam Battle Royal. It was the right thing. They expected. They announced, MVP comes out, announces Omos. Of course, they're all going to, a bunch of them are going to team up and hit a million finishers to get them over the ropes, to be expected. Sheamus being the one that LA Knight eliminated, to get the win was good, just because of Sheamus and his, status in the company and, where people hold him. That's a good thing for him. So that was good. I think it was, the place would have, oh my God. I think if they had him lose and then they led into the Shayna Ronda match, or whatever the hell you want to call it, like that match already sucked enough. Think if they had LA Knight lose, be the last guy eliminated before that. That would have been just, oh my God. Wouldn't even have been a boring earn anything chant. I mean, that would have been like Brock and Goldberg at WrestleMania 20. Like that would have been that. They would not have cared. They did the right thing, though. They got the thing. And I appreciate his press conference, afterwards. If you haven't seen it, you should. LA Knight there. He only got a few questions, but I really did appreciate his answers and all that. And it felt very, genuine. So that was good to see. Shayna and Ronda sucked. MMA style fights sucked. Who wants to watch a predetermined mixed martial arts fight? Like, I feel bad for whoever the agent was. There was the boring chant. There was nothing. It was slow paced. There wasn't a lot of action. It absolutely sucked. And that's what happens when you predetermine an MMA fight. It's just, you can tell it doesn't look natural. It doesn't look good. And I don't understand the purpose of it. And I don't know. They need to do something good for her coming out of it because I don't see how that did one damn thing to help her at all. No one liked it. No one cared about it. It wasn't good. It wasn't entertaining. If that was her thing to beat Ronda and, go on this, like, what did that do for her? Someone in the comments tell me something that did good for Shayna, because that absolutely sucked. That was terrible. Sucked the life out of the crowd. To go from where they were with LA Knight winning that, how quickly it dropped to where they were there. It wasn't good. Wasn't good at all. Thankfully, Gunther and Drew tore the house down afterwards. Again, their styles work well together, just beating the hell out of each other. They always tell a good story, and I was happy to see Gunther retain just because he deserves Honky's record. Like, especially with how much Vince wanted to get rid of him, put him back down after he called him up because he didn't know how to work him, use him because apparently he didn't watch anything he did beforehand. It's a very Vince thing to do, actually. Like, I don't get it. It's not working. What do you think about just doing what they were doing because it worked? Hard thought. Crazy. Holy shit level stuff right there. But he deserves it. I mean, he's fought the big, small, high flyers, strikers, technicians. I mean, brawlers, anywhere you name it. Style. He's fought it. It's been fantastic. I've enjoyed it. He deserves the record. And who can deny it? I mean, look at just the matches he's had. He deserves that until, they find time for him to go on to be, the main champion. Because he just, he's going to have that at some point. If he doesn't have that, someone definitely fucked up somewhere. But it was really good. I appreciated it. Kind of got the crowd back, got them back into it. I don't think they were fully there again after that, how bad that thing was. but got the crowd back. They delivered. They had another good match. It was good to see Drew back. Again, another great match for Gunther. I can't say it as cool as Samantha, so I'm just going to leave it at that. But good to see. Glad they didn't have Vince send him back down. You know, and someone stopped him from that because he's been on a hell of a roll. Get that record, damn it. We all want to see it. Seth defeating Finn, delivered for the card, told a great story. And again, little wrinkles like when he wore the polka dots for the Hell in a Cell match with Cody, you know, wearing the vest that he blew, you know, Finn's shoulder out, you know, to the ring was a good wrinkle. Finn doing, you know, the buckle bomb into the barricade, right, where Seth did it to him all those years ago. Makes sense. Perfectly fine. And then they added, you know, more things to the Judgment Day side of it, which is, you know, good. After Priest, Rhea, and Dom coming down and getting involved in the match, we expected it. But the way the briefcase came into the, you know, the picture, again, you know, that Money in the Bank thing, you know, and getting stomped into it to end it, that's the big wrinkle. And I think, damn it, that's going to be the catalyst. Then finally turning on Priest at some point, just because we've seen Finn talking to JD before. You know, he cost him the title there. They beat the hell out of him tonight. Or he cashes in successfully, which, you know, I don't see it happening, but they turn on him for that. He then feuds with Finn, gets his mind off of cashing in, and then when the time is right, he cashes in on Seth to lead, you know, to bigger and better things for WrestleMania down the road. That could be a way. I just see this being the big goddamn catalyst to finally get, you know, them to turn on Priest, because he's got the charisma, the crowd loves him, he's got the ability, you know, the character, you know, he's got it. And, you know, that's why they had, you know, all that faith in him to make sure that, you know, the match with Miz Morrison and Bad Bunny was good at Mania that year. That's why they gave him that match against him and trusted him to do all that stuff in Puerto Rico. Like, they trust the guy. And the crowd digs him, which is why, you know, he's got everything together, which is why he got the damn briefcase in the first place. I just want to see how long it's going to take and where they're going to go. You know, that's the next logical thing for Finn, you know, and he's had enough matches now against Seth. You know, move Seth on to something else and have them do that. Just, do they pull the trigger now or do they wait? And, you know, I think if they do it now, it's too obvious, which is a big damn problem with it all. But, you know, if they wait, you know, make it seem like everything's good for a couple months and then have them do it, you know, cost him his cash in or something. That could be it, which, by the way, I thought that was going to happen on Saturday night at one point. But, you know, there's a lot of that. And I thought it was, again, another good match, definitely delivered with them. The crowd was into it, as they always are, told a good story and added wrinkles. We got a good match and it added wrinkles to, you know, other stories going on. And, you know, they were good wrinkles. They weren't just wrinkles added just for the sake of adding wrinkles to the damn thing, which we've seen them do. So fully okay with that. Thought it was good. The women's triple threat I thought was quite sloppy. So did Dan, for who was in there. He was texting me about it more, and I was, you know, before I could even text him, granted, I was trying to pay attention. Didn't get to watch Wrestling Minds premium live events for a very long time. SmackDown was the first time I watched one live and forever again. Lots of health things, VA things, administrative things through the VA. You know, just been trying to figure a lot of stuff out, so I didn't get a lot of time to watch it. I don't get to watch it live that often anyway before that, but it really made it impossible. So, you know, maybe I missed a lot, but I thought it was very sloppy. I expected more out of them. I mean, Charlie with that moonsault off the top rope missed. You couldn't say she didn't miss. She was behind them, like, thankfully, you know, close enough. But we've seen her be spot on so many times. Like, there was that. And there was a few things that were, you know, quite sloppy. I was pissed. See Asuka pretty much be a placeholder yet again. Done it before. I mean, one time she held the title for 10 minutes. So that way Charlotte could beat her and then go into the main event with, you know, Ronda and Becky as champions, so I could have two belts on the line there. Like, literally, they've had her do that. And I haven't been, you know, very appreciative of that. And again, just Charlotte doesn't need it. Bianca really doesn't need it, just for how much she's been shoved down everyone's throat. I wasn't happy till that damn music hit. And I was, like I said, waiting 1 minute, just going, is Bayley going to turn on her? What? And cost her? Just, you know, it was a thought. That saved it, because that almost ruined my whole entire damn night when I saw Bianca win. Like, why? Let someone else do it. Literally, well, no one else stepped up to the plate. Well, you know, whenever Charlotte comes back, she's immediately thrown in title pictures. That puts other people, you know, behind the eight ball when, you know, there's going to be a new, you know, Charlotte's back, and there's going to be a couple months of that. You know, and then Bianca, the champion all the time. No offense to her. That run there last time with all the matches against Bayley and Damage Control and all that on repeat, just like all the matches with Doudrop, was useless. Same character, the same promos, the same everything. She didn't need to have that, you know, title ring. Granted, that protected Asuka because she didn't get pinned on the cash in, so that does move things forward there. I just, you know, Bianca getting it pissed me off. Io cashing in saved it all for me. And again, just because Bianca's been the same damn thing on loop. Like all the matches against Doudrop, the same thing on loop. Bailey for that long, all the same thing. Her promos, all the same. Like it's very mundane and monotonous and repetitive to me. And I don't like there's no evolution. And that's a problem, which is why I'm hoping maybe this is a catalyst to turn her heel and join Lashley's group of the Street Profits and get all of them doing that. And everyone gets to have, this good dominating heel run. I think they could do really good work. It's just do they pull the god-forsaking trigger on that? But definitely need the cash in to save the night. Seeing Dakota back was great. And now we just wait and see how long it takes Bailey to turn on her, because I'm pretty sure we all know that's going to happen at some point. All but guaranteed. And Io will deliver in the match. So that's a really, good thing. And then the main event, Roman defeating Jay. Great story and match. Not sure about the finish. Again, there's some damn thoughts on that that make sense. Yeah, I think it worked. But the question is, where do they go with it? And like Heyman said, they were about the bottom of the third during the press conference. Again, great press conference, especially, LA Knight was great. Cody was great. Io did good. But Paul did a great job describing all that. He said they're in the bottom of the third. And I know they wanted to face one another. That's a dream match at Mania. But now, I guess if they do it now, that means they can get back together somewhere down the road and continue. It's just, I don't know. I don't think they could be any more over than they are now to be able to have that match at Mania, but can they keep that going to even be in that situation? If that's the angle they even go, 8 months from now? Like, how do they keep, that momentum? Because they've been on fire, but as we've seen, look where Sammy was, and then the tag time, how bad is, him and KO, their tag reign has been. It hasn't been nearly as good as it was building up to, in my opinion. So, just where do they do all that? That's really the big one. But it's another wrinkle in the bloodline. We get to see where they do with it. Is he stopping him from becoming the tribal chief? Was he just trying to screw him over because he didn't want him to be the right hand man? He was jealous of him. Like, there's so many different things, they can do about it. I guarantee a solo run. So maybe we'll see, Jay get a singles title and hold on to something. That'd be, okay and completely cool. That just because, he has never had one. I just want to see how they're going to spin it going forward. I really think that, really the main reason to me, no one in the machine's probably going to like this, but they'll never hear this and I don't give a damn. They probably did it, because Roman's barely ever on TV. And now we can have those two feud. And whatever, however they throw Solo and Heyman in there, they could have them fill the TV time for the bloodline when Roman isn't there. And it keeps, that going without us ever having to see him. Really, that's probably the biggest thing there. Just, it keeps it going while Roman's sitting at home. And I'm not complaining about him sitting at home. I wish, he has both titles through all the complaining he did about a certain someone. The holding titles never being there, but he delivers when he's there. But this keeps the whole angle going with the new wrinkle. And I think that's really the damn big thing out of it. But overall, I got to give it a 6 to a 7 somewhere, just because, I didn't like the first finish. And there was, no matter what, again, they were hinky in the triple threat match with the women, and that MMA thing was useless. Like, the MMA thing alone drops that thing down to a 7 or so all on its own, just because of how god awful that was. Dan gave it a 6. I'm going somewhere between 6 and 7. I don't know what to put it as. I don't give a damn. And again, that match sucks so bad. I have to give it it's a 6 or a C, I guess. Today's grading standards, a D. I don't know. I know a 60 was failing. A 69.9 or below was failing when I was in school. Not no more. But that kind of killed it. And I can't really. I had no hope going into the night for the MMA style match. I'm like, yeah, an MMA style match. That's pre-planned and figured out, so it's going to look totally natural. Totally. And somehow they managed to find a way to make it actually worse than any of us imagined, which is actually impressive when you think about it. None of us had, I'm pretty sure none of us had any damn faith going into that thing, going into it. And then they absolutely shit the bed. And it was so much worse than anything. But otherwise, Rogan and Ricochet's finish, Logan Paul, Ricochet, again, where do they go with it? Just because, they protected him, but what are they protecting him for? And that continues it going. Do they keep it going because of how personal God that? There's a lot of things, but the way Logan's there, has been there in the past. When does it get drug out to? And that's my big problem, with it, just because it was so personal and all that. not clean finish. What if, if he vanishes for a couple months again, because he has other things that he does. I'm not, talking shit about the man for having other things to do and business things to do. It's just, doing that, where does it go? So curious about that. Excited to see where the Judgment Day thing goes again. Excited to see what they do with it all. But Rhea, if we're going to, close it out, talk about that, Rhea being a Judgment Day is the biggest detriment to her title run. Like they made her where she was picking up Gallows and flinging them around and all that. And, making her so dominant. And then she got the title and she's literally, again, just running around. Dom's always involved. And she's not doing anything. Like it has been a complete detriment to her. Like she just happens to have the title. There's no, like, tell me I'm wrong. Like I love Rhea to death. I thought she was killing it. And since she got it, she's just too worried about being up Dom's ass, like all of them are. Like she's women's champion. She was dominant. I mean, you had her slamming guys the size of Gallows. Now you're going to have her not doing it. That's a detriment to her. That's a pile of shit. They need to figure that out. But the rest of it going forward, there's going to be wrinkles, and I think it's going to get a lot better. See what they do with Bianca. Again, hopefully the turn with, the Profits as they joined up with Lashley. See how they go with that. I think she desperately needs it because I don't care what anyone says, it's stale. I haven't liked it. I don't know a lot of people that have liked, again, the promos. It's just all the same. Hell, I've been going to Walmart and GameStop, the same ones, and they continuously, even when they mark down at GameStop, like take here, clearance with an additional 50% off on the Bianca Belair Funko Pops, they are all still there. Everything else is like that gone for wrestling Funko Pops. Hers are still there, and they still have them at Walmart from months ago. Like it's boring. It's stale. She needs to get that change. God bless EO. And that cash in, saved that night. And I'll see what they're going to do to save Shayna because that whole thing sucked and it did nothing to improve anything. For Leah, she beat Ronda and TKO, but the match was shit. It was all shit. It really, really sucked and did nothing. So got to see how that, goes with everything. But again, sorry, I've been gone for a while. Again, been a rough couple months traveling for all kinds of appointments all over. A lot of appointments, labs, migraines, arguing with the VA, all kinds of stuff. So, I appreciate y'all checking it out and, sticking around. Make sure, keep track of all the socials, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, they're all under Wrestling with Jesse Rosinski, except for Twitter, which is Wrestling Ski. So follow that, share the hell out of everything. Check out the Jay Rosinski Creations Etsy. Help raise money for the shows. Don't forget to check out the sponsors, Reaper Apparel Co., code Rosinski, save 10%, hold the line, get the link. It's on my thing. Automatically get some challenge coins, help out, some veterans and support some good, guys. Hodge Twins discount code Jesse10. Get that. Save 10% on Hodge Twins gear. I appreciate all of you. Let me know your thoughts on it all because, it was a big night. There's a lot to talk about. I've been out of the loop. But let's get this to a good number, some positive momentum. And until we meet again, everybody, peace.